Rule number 1 of Taizai. Never mess with Bond's woman. You do, and Bond's gonna fuck you up. And that is what the Ten Commandments, 2 Ten Commandments just did to Bond. They messed with Elaine. And they didn't just mess with Elaine in by hurting her, but in by bringing her back, having Bond interact with her an entire chapter, and then killing her in a similar way as how she died the first time. So, if Bond forgot about how Elaine died, I think it all just came right back to him, and he's like, oh, she died in my arms last time, didn't she? And she just died again in my arms. Bond is probably at that level right now to where he is just so beyond mad, he probably doesn't even care about his well-being. Like, he probably doesn't even give a shit anymore. And I'm worried for Bond, because we know Bond can get hurt by high-level demons. I mean, look what Meliodas did to Bond with a scar. And Meliodas at the time, you know, he as we know, his strength is at the level of a Ten Commandment. Right now, Bond is fighting 2 Ten Commandments. There is a good possibility that these demons could hurt Bond and kill him. If Bond walks in thinking he's immortal and can't be damaged or hurt, he's got another thing coming, because Meliodas could hurt Bond. And if Meliodas can, that means these Ten Commandments can. You can kind of argue and say that Garden is not as strong as Meliodas, which that's actually, you can expect that, because, I mean, look what Meliodas did to Garden. He wrecked him in a couple of seconds, and, you know, even if he's not as strong as Meliodas, you can assume that the Ten Commandments probably could put some everlasting damage on Bond. So, we have to worry for Bond right now, because we do know Bond is not nowhere near the strength. Unless he's been hiding something, I don't think he has the strength to probably put up a really good fight against a Ten Commandment, like match their speed and strength, because for now, he's not as strong as some of them. But also, I feel like Bond is banking upon him not being able to die, because, you know, he's immortal. But, I mean, if he goes up against someone like this, there is a possibility he will get hurt. And this is the thing I feared the most when it comes to Bond as a character and going up against an opponent like this, because Bond thinks he's immortal. He feels like he can't be hurt. But when he goes up against something like this, like a person that's a Ten Commandments, especially someone that's called Maricilla, I think that's how you pronounce it. I want to call the girl Scylla for short. She has the commandment faith attached to her. So I wonder what this faith commandment attached to her is going to be kind of like, because we saw what Garden's did. You know, if you lie to Garden in his presence, you turn into stone. That's what happened to Merlin. So I wonder what will happen with this faith commandment that Scylla has attached to her. And that's probably going to play a huge role into whatever kind of hurts Bond. But maybe that's a way to go over Bond's immortality. Who fucking knows? Still, I'm worried for Bond because he's walking into a fight that might kind of kill him. Permanently, not just that. But getting past the setup of the 2 Ten Commandments, what's fucked up about this chapter, and I don't think many might realize why it's so fucked up, but I've already kind of said it one time. You had it to where Elaine died in the same way, like in a similar way as she died the first time. Bond was holding her, she died and passed away, and she died thanks to demon kind. That's how Elaine died in this chapter and how she died the first time. Bond right now is probably facing so many emotions because he probably doesn't know how to feel. You have it to where his girl comes back, he gets to communicate and talk with her, have a pleasant time, even though she tried to kill Jericho, and shockingly enough, Bond surprised me with his actions. The way he stopped Elaine like that, grabbed her by the arms, like, don't do this, and, you know, how he was talking back to Elaine, and then, you know, how he was just reacting to the entire situation. Bond surprised me with how he stood up for Jericho, and I know Bond's not 100% asshole and an evil person, but still, I'm shocked he went that far for Jericho. But then what shocked me even more is how Jericho gets on top of Elaine, holds her down, and then starts just yelling at her, saying, like, I am better for Bond, you're a fucking washboard. I'm like, oh, just like, what? Just like Jericho just straight up, fuck him, yo, oh my god. And Bond didn't say nothing. He didn't say nothing at all. But the big thing I want to pull out of this dialogue is what drove Elaine to come back. Elaine came back from the dead. Why she had regrets is because she's been watching Bond. And she reveals that, like, with you adventuring with Jericho, this thing, as, Elaine says, I'm jealous, I'm envious, because I should be the one in that spot, traveling with you, going on adventures. I shouldn't be the one that's dead and just being alone. I should be the one traveling with you, Bond. And with this, dialogue, I feel like Bond is probably going to be thinking a lot about that, because he now knows Elaine has been watching him, and he knows that with the actions he's probably caused her grief, and so he might take the route of pushing Jericho away, because of how Jericho was so close to him in his travels, and how Elaine wants to travel with Bond. Bond might look at it as if, like, he's trampling upon Elaine's kindness and what he wanted to do with Elaine if he travels with Jericho. So I'm kind of worried that that dialogue might change Bond, or he doesn't want to be with Jericho. But still, Jericho announcing that she's in love with Bond right in front of Bond, and then saying, like, I'm better, and just all sorts of things, and then just straight up says, like, you're kind of what's hurting Bond right now. You're dragging him down. You're the person that he constantly hurts himself over just to save. I'm like, damn, the fucking, just Jericho, man. Jericho was such a good character in this chapter. Hands down one of the best characters. Besides Bond just getting straight up fucking pissed, Jericho, best girl of the chapter. Like, I like Elaine, but Jericho, I cannot put you down. You did a pretty damn good job in this chapter. And so, we also have it revealed at the end, the final page in the final panel, that we're going to be getting a color page next week, and we're going to be getting 2 chapters. Yeah, we're getting 2 chapters, a double chapter next week, so it's going to be 2 chapters in one. So, Nakaba-sensei is pulling a Hiro Mashima, making multiple chapters in 1 week. Nakaba-sensei, I love you. Just the hard work you put into Taizai, giving us a good story, some good art. Not the best art of all time, but some good art, and some just good character progression. I can't ask for more. And having 2 chapters in one, I'm going to assume that the chapters are going to be majority of it fighting, because Bond's about to go in and fight these 10 commandments. I feel like with a color page, the announcement of an anime, and also just seeing Bond going in next week's chapter, or chapters, are going to be intense. So get ready. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. How do you all feel about this week's chapter of Taizai? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please be safe. Chibi out.